Good afternoon, YouTube. Today I am working on a KTM two-stroke. I believe it's a 250 or 300. It doesn't have any markings on it. It's just a really, as you can see, an extremely beat up and dirty bike that we're going to try and resurrect. So I'm doing a complete overhaul on. I'm doing a sonic cleaning on the carb. I'm doing a new spark plug. We might have to do a new jug and piston, but we're going to see if we can get it going with just doing the minimal oil change, spark plug, carburetor cleaning, new air filter. The guy has to get an air box because it doesn't even have an air box. And as you can see, we are extremely messy. So this is the before, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to run this thing through probably 3 times through the sonic cleaner, and we'll see how it comes out. Even the interior has got extreme amount of debris, and you can look here on the needle. The needle is even just all gummed up with what do you call varnish from the oil, from the fuel sitting in there. So I'll come back. I'm going to start disassembly. So you need to take off the side panels, the seat first. The seat has 2 screws, like all dirt bike. You got 2 screws back here. These were 8mm instead of 10. They're usually 10mm back here. Then you just pull the seat off, and then then you take the side panels off. They were put on with screws. I don't know if that's factory or the guy used screws. They look like, because they're all screws. This is this is from the seat, the 8mm. And you take those side panels off, and then the gas tank just comes off. The gas tank isn't fastened on with anything. So basically the side panels are fastened onto the gas tank here, and then the front of it is fastened on to the where is it? It's fastened, no, right? One of the, I think it's down here. It's fastened on to the radiator, so that's what holds it all together. But the tank just kind of just sits there. Just this pin holds it on so it doesn't slide back and forth, and it just kind of hangs over. And you need to take that off because it's a big tank. It hangs down almost to the head of the cylinder in order to get down to everything. So that's disassembly, and then you just you got your band straps. You just take your band straps off. They are standard flathead, and then pull your carburetor out. Take your throttle out, and then pull the carburetor out. So I'm going to clean it now. I'll be back. Okay, so I wanted to do a quick snippet with some photos I took of the carburetor before cleaning and after cleaning with the sonic cleaner. So this was the carburetor just as I had pulled it out of the KTM. This is the front and rear manifolds. This is the left side is where the engine is, the cylinder, and the rear is the airbox. So that's what it looked like when I pulled the carburetor out. This is what the carburetor looked like on my workbench. You can see it was completely filthy. This is the other side. This is the bowl, completely covered in varnish, and it was just unbelievable to get it off. I had to use a brush and brake clean over and over again. The sonic cleaner with just heated water would not clean this varnish off. This is the top of the carburetor after going 4 passes through the sonic cleaner. This is the inside, the top of the bowl after going through 4 passes with the sonic cleaner. And this is the bottom bowl, the bottom part of the bowl. And like I said, I ran it through the sonic cleaner about 4 times, but I also had to go in there with a brush and brake clean and really scrape and manipulate the stuff off of the aluminum. It was just completely caked on. All right, that's it. Okay, so I wanted to go over our progress. So here's the carburetor. I did 4 passes through my Sonic cleaner. You can see I should have showed you a picture of the bowl. The bowl was completely covered with varnish. So this is the Sonic cleaner I use. It's basically a giant jewelry cleaner. I got the biggest you could get. It does 8-minute cycles, 480 seconds. You can turn. It's got a heat setting, or just run it with and you just put water in it. So I had to do 4 complete passes, so 24 minutes of cleaning to get everything like this. This was completely covered. You can see this is the old float. We're going to use a new float. He bought a kit. Here's the old pin. You can just look at everything was covered like this with varnish. So we're going to use, and he has a pin and the weight in the new kit, new spring, the old spring. Where's the old? Look at the old spring and the old. I mean, just everything is just. I don't know if you can see down in there. Everything is just completely covered with gunk. These are the old jets. I was able to get some of the holes clean. This looks actually pretty good. You can see the light when I turn it. So that looks pretty good. This is clean straight through. So I'm going to use when I can. I'm going to use the old parts, and when I have to use new parts, this is the old float pin. We're not going to use that because these little detents, the spring inside there, the spring goes bad on these little detents. So we're going to use the new one, and we're going to use the new float. And we're going to use the new throttle block, new spring, new keeper. There is, I wanted to tell you about this. So this is screwed in there, and this is the block that your throttle cable goes into. So you have to turn it with I think it was a 6mm. Let me see what size I'm using here. Can't see it, but it's a 6mm. Okay, you need to turn it so that it's to the side like that, so you can pull out the cable. When you have the cable in there, you need to turn this either facing to the rear or facing to the front, so the cable can never slip out. But you need to turn it to the side in order to pop it out, because it will not come out. All right, so I'm going to start assembling everything. We're also going to put a new spark plug in, and we're also going to do an oil change. So we're at the assembly point. I'm done cleaning. I'm going to start reassembling stuff. We're also going to need new vent lines, new vent hoses, because these are really destroyed. And I believe I have some. So we're going to put some on there. You have 2 vents up here, one on each side. Then you have a side vent here also, and then this is the fuel intake. And then there's going to be one on the bottom doesn't have. Oh yeah, the bottom does have one. So there's 4 total. Okay, so that's where we are. I'll come back once the carburetor is fully assembled, and we'll start installing it. Okay, so we started to do the oil change. I just want to show you on this KTM, the oil drain is on the side. There's no drain on the bottom, so it's on the side of the bike, on the left side of the bike, right by the gear shift, right down there behind the frame bolt. And this guy's got some issues here, huh? It's a magnetic drain plug, and it is just covered in metal shavings. So we drained it out. I'm gonna have to figure out how much needs to go back in. And this is the oil. The oil did not look good at all. So this bike has definitely been treated neglectfully. Okay, so I'm gonna clean this plug up, put it back in, figure out how much oil goes into this thing, and then we'll take it from there. And then we'll put the carburetor back in, and that's the end. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so we figured out that the oil change, we took the old oil, and if you do any of your own work or you work on a bunch of vehicles, you should get one of these graduated jugs. And we poured it in here, and there was 750 milliliters in there. So we basically filled this back up with 750 milliliters of fresh oil. This is what I had on hand, 10 weight 40, and it's a Honda Pro. So I did 750 milliliters, and we put that back in. So plugs in, no leaks. We got the oil in there already. I just got to close. I'm just letting it drain down completely, and then we're going to put the carburetor in, and that's it. And then we'll see if this thing starts. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, we have carburetor in, and I had to make some new vent hoses, and we were able to use the old one for the drain, the bowl drain. So, but it's too long. Actually, that hose came from up here. It was one of these, but the rest of them were all. Let me fix this. Put this down. There we go. Okay, so then they're all draining down out the back, like they should, down the back. Okay, so that's all on. We have the throttle in. The spring and everything's working fine. So, and we have everything tightened up. And we're ready to put the tank on, get some fuel in this thing, and see what happens. All right, we'll be right back.
Got it?
Go. One more time. Again. Okay, yeah.
It's pouring out.
It's pouring out. Yeah, it's coming right out of the jug. One more time. Again. Yep. Okay. That's good.